you can do things. That's a term that people talk about a lot. So this is about why school is just a terrible idea right now. It's not neutral, it's not good, it's a negative, and not only that, it will destroy your child's existence. Any school, no matter what. Fundamentally, let's look at it, right? So you do things in this world, you are nice to your partner, you might get a relationship, you might work towards, go to work that day, you get money, you do things, and things happen. School teaches you over many, many years that you do things and nothing happens. Anything that you may get a certificate or award or everything, but everything is in the future, in the future, in the future. So when you get out of school, you're like, I can't do things and things happen. I have to, because you've been trained for 18, 25, 30 years that you can't do things and things happen. So then you go through the next how many years of your life, let's just say 20 years, so you're 40 years old now, 44 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, and you just keep playing out this pattern where you learn from school that you have to invest, do things, you go through this whole process, and eventually you can maybe make it happen. But if you look at someone that didn't go through the schooling process, they don't have that system inside them. They're like, well, I can go do this thing, I can create this thing, get this relationship, get this thing that I want. I desire something, I can do something about it and get it. So they not only will they reach their goals when the other normal person won't, they can reach multiple goals, they can do hundreds of things that another person will not even reach in their lifetime, or even be able to, while this person might achieve, the person that didn't go to school might achieve 50 goals, the other person may achieve 0, or may achieve 1 after a very long time, like something really lame as well, like pay off their house or something. Or this other person may go on the dream holidays, create the dream relationship, create the dream business, create the dream children, So in terms of what they've parted onto, and create that dream internal life where they find them happiness in some way or some kind of fulfillment. So this is my argument, and there's 1,000 other arguments for why school is terrible, and this just goes for all schools. There's just no exception to it. I can't, you have these side schools or whatever. What's the alternative? So I'm not saying the kid wakes up and stares at the wall. I'm saying, the kid wakes up and goes, okay, what do you want to do with your day today? How do you want to live your day? And hopefully by that time they, it might be 5 or 6 or 7. Like, I'd like to do it this way. I'd like to do it at my friend's house. I want to do this. I want to, maybe this looks pretty interesting. They might want to learn about something, play some music, have fun. Me personally, I'd probably take them to a lot of sport, after school, or, on the weekends, things that are challenging and, interesting and they find very enthralling, team sports. I do a lot of that stuff on the weekends. So, and yeah, rather than the jail cell of a school where you're forced to interact with everyone, they're like, yeah, you know what, I really enjoyed time with this person. We did these things together. Hopefully, they have a community where they can go out with their friends and run around and stuff. When they're younger, maybe some supervision is needed. As they get to 10, 12, 13, they can sort of go out with their friends, and hopefully they understand, you got to stay safe, don't take unnecessary risks, like jumping off these massive hills that I see kids doing these days, like 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds, and possibly causing, do that kind of fun stuff, but not over the top. Peer pressure might be a bit much on that situation. And then hopefully you impart into the kid that, what is risk? What is to take risks? When do you take risk? Is it worth the risk? What's the downside of the risk? And yeah, that's pretty much it. They learn all their education, and they become friends with the AI and ask it questions and talk about things with it, because that's where it's going, right? We've got to interact with AI all the time, and get rid of the education process. Whatever they're curious about, whatever they found enthralling, they pursue that. You know? They might wake up one day and go, you know, I love the idea of, you know, I want to become a guy that he loves bikes, loves driving bikes, so now he wants to create bikes. And then the next day he might be like, I want to become this, or I want to, you know, drive cars really fast. All right, cool. Well, ask the AI, and the AI will ask it all the questions you want, and you know, maybe I can put you in the right position with the right people and support you with that, so that you find life interesting. So that's my take on schooling. You know, I'm trying to say things in a philosophical way because philosophy is the main thing moving on than anything in the world, I think, because our philosophy will dictate how we talk to AI, how we direct AI, you know, having a philosophy is the main thing that you can work on as a human being. We as a human species need to decide on what philosophies we teach our children. In this case, our children is the AI. And we need to have a shared value system with the rest of humanity. Go, okay, well, AI, sorry, I just had a shower, so my ears all wet. You know, AI prefers to keep humans around. AI is empathetic to human beings. AI is supportive, you know, whatever it may be, you know. And what is the value of it? Is a human only valuable if they can create goods and products and services, or are they allowed to live regardless, and we give everybody some kind of universal basic income so they can keep living, and if they decide to do more than that, then they get a chance to do more than that. So philosophy is like, what does it mean to be a human? What does it mean to be a human civilization? Where are we going as a direction? So these are philosophies that, you know, is I would say is the most important thing that, if anything, we should be teaching our children is philosophies. You know, how to think philosophically, and I think that comes above everything because, you know, you can be highly educated in, you know, being a doctor of some kind. Say you're a surgeon, and then, you know, what would be the most valuable surgeon is a surgeon that can sort of talk to the AI, and they both sort of work together. And as the AI is doing the surgery, the surgeon can say, well, what about this? Did you consider this from the human perspective? And the AI is like, okay, yep, I can edit myself. And then all that learnings from that one surgery will then spread out to all the other surgeons in the rest of the world. So, you know, if you are that surgeon in that situation, what's your most valuable skill set? Which is your ability to philosophize, think in the context that you're living in, impart that philosophy into the robot, and we go from there. So your children should be really focused on that. What does it mean to live, experience, philosophize, and then the rest of it sort of comes automatically, because once you have that down pat, then you can say, well, I want to, from tomorrow, become, you know, really good at relationships. And then you talk to the AI will teach you everything it can. You have conversations with it, it'll draw you diagrams, it'll teach you everything it can, you interact with it. Then you go attempt certain things, and you come back to the AI, and the AI will say, yep, what about this? You interact with it, you know? That's another skill set, how to interact with the AI, how to prompt it. Again, if you have philosophy, then you know how to prompt it and communicate to AI better, because philosophy will be like, what does a human do? Creativity. What does an AI do? Tasks. So that means based on that philosophy, you as a human are the only creative in that situation. So you have to think of ideas outside of the box to feed into the AI, so the AI can be the best tool it can for you.